Here, I wanted to show you guys a few things that I've made over the last year or so. Um, Started carving spoons last fall, and I've done quite a few things. And Just kind of my progression on learning here. This one here was my first spoon that I carved, and I just carved it out of a old pallet slat board from a pallet. Um, I don't actually use it. It was just kind of it was an experiment to see, just to learn how to carve a spoon and so forth. And I've done several things to it as I've learned more and more. But that was my first attempt at a spoon. It was functional, but not usable because you never know what kind of chemicals have been put onto pallets to keep them from bug infestations and stuff like that. So that was my first one, and then this was my second one here, and it was pretty rough. I only used some knives on it, and draw knives and straight knives, and then I used this gouge. This gouge I picked up at Harbor Freight, and I used this gouge to make the bowls. And so that was my second attempt. I had a few split outs here and there, so there's quite a bit of imperfections with that one. So then I moved on with a smaller spoon out of whatever I had left over. Still the same pallet wood I had. This is pretty nice. This is, I thought was pretty nicely done. Um, has some nice form to it. Still very thick and very solid piece of very solid spoon there. Kind of like some of the wood traits, wood grain on the back of it and so forth. Um, but that was that, and then I attempted to make a spatula, burger flipper, pancake flipper, and that's what I have there with this thing. And I put an edge on it, um, pretty good there. Flattened it down. Did not get it very. It was not done. I did not get it very symmetrical, um, but it was a good first attempt at something like that. And that was without watching really any videos on that specifically. Just using the few simple tools that I had. So that was that. And then I moved on. And I went and bought some poplar boards at at just Lowe's. And so I got some simple poplar boards. And I bought two of them, and out of one, I made. You can see how these both lay on top of this board. The boards were the same size there, and I made two separate spoons out of it there. And with these, I used more of some different techniques. I used some saws on it, some reduction techniques there. I love the grain there in the bowl of it there, and I used the same gouge to create the bowl, and still some irregularities to it, but pretty nicely done. Very functional. This one's very functional, very sturdy, very functional, and I like the look to that. And then this one, I made this one as well. Tried to get a thinner handle to it, and it came out pretty nicely. And again, I was using knives. An Opinel knife I think I used on this one, and I got the back a little bit more smooth. Now the big difference on these was that I used a drum sander to smooth them out and to get more of the contour on the edges and so forth, which is a good a useful thing to have there. But so both of those are functional, and this is made out of poplar, so it's not treated with any chemicals or anything like that. So I feel safe using that. I can use that on for cooking actually in my kitchen, and I coated it with a. I believe these have all been washed at some point, but I coated these last ones with a mineral oil that I picked up at my local woodworking shop, and coated it just to seal it up a little bit. But from what I understand, they won't. You don't necessarily need to put anything on them, and you're going to wash it off if you put it in a dishwasher or something like that. So something to think about. But because this stuff was fully dried lumber, completely dried lumber, I haven't had any cracking issues, any kind of cracking or splitting issues with that at all. So that's something to think about. Think about there. So now with this last piece of poplar that I have here, I have two projects in mind for that piece of wood, and it's going to be, I'm going to cut it in half again. I'm going to make two more utensils out of it. I'm going to make another burger flipper that hopefully that should be a lot better than the first one I made. And then I'm also going to make a stirring spatula, an idea I got from Paul Sellers. So yeah, we'll see how those things come out and see what they look out. So thanks for joining me, and I appreciate your comments and ideas on what I've made here, and any ideas on better techniques or things like that. So thank you, and I will see you next time.